Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LTA cross-conference play. It is day 2. It is one game in to C9 versus Loud, and game number 1 was effectively over very fast.
That was a go next very early on because of the lane swap. So let's go next, Flowers.
Okay.
Let's get into game number 2.
Welcome to next.
Let's go into game number 2 real quick here. Okay, first pick Sejuani takeaway. Yone is already banned though, so there are some other good like melee carries like Jax and stuff still up and available. We'll see where this one ends up going for them. But the Ambessa takeaway here immediately as well, since Cassante was already used in the first game. Fearless rules, can't pick that into it. The Jace as well banned away this one. So other good things are like strong early lane phase into Ambessa, like Renekton or something would be a melee lane that would also pair well with a Sejuani, those types of things. But they slam a Kai'Sa here already in second pick, so they're going dive at the very least there. They have Sejuani with non-committal CC and Kai'Sa definitely ability to follow up here.
Let's see what else they want to join with that one. Juggling between a couple of mid lane picks, they will settle on the Ahri.
Pick and dive, Flowers. Pick and dive.
Dive.
They may be short range, but they have mobility on these carries. So they've got to take scraps. They have to create skirmishes and take those scraps and pick up some kills there on the Kai'Sa, on the Ahri, if that one's going to work. Meanwhile, they steal away the Vi here. Like you could do some things where you put Sejuani top lane. I've seen Sejuani top lane before, so maybe flex or something there. But the Vi gives you that lockdown to try and take away some of that mobility aspect from either the Ahri or the Kai'Sa. It's very dangerous though a lot of times to like Vi ult an Ahri if your timing is not perfect, so she can draw you to some dangerous areas.
Vi also working really well with both the solo laners that we've seen drafted so far for C9. You can set it up very easy for a seismic shove or a public execution. Pretty much no miss, unless you're just not paying attention to what's on your screen.
Pretty much, yeah. I like that you leave that open.
There's always a possibility. You hear like a loud noise off to the side, you turn your head away right as you click, you miss the guy. But in 99% of situations, you will not miss.
Or sometimes your Vi could be like 3 screens away from you and do it. I've seen that happen too. And then you're like, well, I'm not on the same screen. Even if I flash to follow,
I can't follow you, bro.
With my seismic shove, then that won't work. But yep, definitely good combos there for Cloud9, for Blaber. Let's get into the bottom lanes here, though. Ooh, another dash blocker.
This would be absolutely dastardly. Yeah, now you've got Ahri that wants to dash, Sejuani that likes to dash. Oh, yeah.
Pick.
That's what it is, man. There's some like, whoa, type of vibe going on with this thing. This is Poppy denying that. This is Taliyah Unraveled Earth denying that. Dashes are off the menu.
All right, what is a diabolical AD carry pick that would go down there for Zven to pair with the dastardly Poppy pick?
It would have to be something that's just like the most anti-dive possible.
Some CC in the pick or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Cloud9 are showing a lot of damage already on the team. So, but anyways, for Loud, just keep with the theme. Full dive. Nautilus, the most common pair with Kai'Sa throughout the history of those champions. So, no surprise there. Winsome will pick that one up.
Kai'Sa and Nautilus feel like they're practically made to be paired. Like Xayah and Rakan have each other. Kai'Sa has Nautilus. Yeah. That is who she's meant to be with.
It's a true love story. Where were they on Valentine's, huh? Are we sure?
Yeah, where were Kai'Sa and Nautilus? Well, we know they're here right now, and Jax is going to be the last member of the team here with them for that top lane to brawl against the Ambessa. And now we get to answer your question, my friend. What is C9's anti-dive AD carry?
Well, the anti-dive AD carry throughout history has been #1 Xayah pick, the best #1 all-time counter dive AD carry, locked in.
That champion is so good at making all of that dive just feel so incredibly worthless. And then, if you're overextended after diving, you might think, oh, I should dash out. Too bad, Poppy and Taliyah. It's a real problem if they don't get a big payoff from that initial engage.
Yeah, so this is certainly going to be a battle of who can get some early kills. And this time around, again, you know, with Loud, you know, investing some resources into getting powerful top lane matchup pick, like they want to get Robo versus Thanatos and have junglers be involved, because early game, Sejuani Jax is so much better than an Ambessa Xayah early game duo, because the Sejuani passive just does so much work in those duels. So we'll see if Loud can actually get that this time around and doesn't get completely thrown off by the lane swaps.
And they gotta be wanting it, man. The fans are so passionate for him here in the studio. Even last game, when it was so one-sided so early on, when Loud did have a pop-off moment, when they did manage to get a kill.
The second grub spike? Yeah.
The fans were going crazy for him. And with two teams from the South already eliminated yesterday, you know Loud wants to give the South a champion to root for in the next stage.
They certainly do. Let's see what work they can get done. Maybe around mid lane. I mean, honestly, continue to target Loki would be my call for the team. You know, if we're up there trying to coach and trying to get some early focus, it's focus on solo lanes. Focus on that Sejuani being active, trying to help out the Ahri, help out the Jax in those matchups, because those are 2 points. You know, if you can get some solo lane leads for Loud, then they can actually dictate the setups for some of the objectives this time around.
They did a good job beating up Loki last game. Maybe they should have tried to beat him up at level 1 instead of going top lane. Yeah? Every time they tried to beat him up, it worked.
I will say yes, because anything would have been a better choice than what happened in that game.
I know that nobody ever dives mid on lane swap, but there's no way it could have gone worse than game 1 did.
All right, so this time around, we're going to get a good old-fashioned regular game of League of Legends, it looks like. No deep invades for lane swap wards. Actually, maybe we'll hold that thought. It might be a delayed invade. Sejuani kind of positioning over there. See if they go try and sniff around for a ward on Raptors. Try and track Blaber. Meanwhile, Winsome and Root over here in the mid lane brush. See if they can catch anyone. See if there's any surprise, you know, little rotation over for our ward there. Sometimes you can get a flash early game or some little advantage, but the mid lane brush camp does not work out. Nobody goes in for anything aggressive from the side of Cloud9, and so we will get standard lane matchups.
So one thing I want to track here is the difference in summoner spells on AD carries. Root has barrier versus the cleanse on Zven. I think both of them make sense. Zven wanting to make sure that he always gets away from the dive, whereas Root just wants to be more powerful when he jumps in. But I want to see if either of these ends up being a real huge difference maker, particularly early on in this laning phase. There's plenty of CC on both sides for that cleanse to be useful against, and you always can get extra value out of the barrier.
Yeah, definitely true, and we'll see about the early lane phase, as you say. You know, little chunks already. Winsome walking up, getting the push for them as well. Now, problem for Loud's bottom lane is going to be, of course, that they have Wiz pathing away from bottom lane. As we recommended, you know, we're like, Wiz should be focusing on these solo lane matchups, because I think there is a lot of potential there for them to gain. But Blaber is pathing down towards bottom lane, so they do have to be a bit careful, and it is oftentimes pretty hard to ward out Vi ganks because of the Q and Vi's ability to circumvent a lot of vision. You know, you can go over the back of the Dragon Pit, wrap around through the Tri-Bush. You know, a lot of options available to Blaber there after he finishes his full clear.
Okay, let's see where he goes, but we'll see that here in just a minute. Meanwhile, checking in on the state of the lanes, it's Robo who's now got the wave pushing back towards him after he initially crashed it into the turret of Thanatos up here in the top side. Both of these champions have the potential to be an absolute menace as the game goes on if they can manage to get ahead of the other. Both of them love to scrap. Both of them have massive threat onto the back line if they can get there in a team fight, or just play the side lane if they get super far ahead, and that's the way the team needs them to do it.
Yeah. And so I think Robo doing a good job. You know, he's setting up for his jungler who's pathing towards him to have some vision to work with. You know, he gets the wave pulling towards him. He can call right now, hey, Thanatos just used Trinket Ward. So Sejuani is going to circumvent that Trinket Ward. Sejuani Q is a very long cooldown, though. So having just used it there, it's a 17-second cooldown. Waiting now a bit is Wiz for that cooldown to come back, and we'll see if they set it up.
All right, they want this on Thanatos. Nice flash for the Counter-Strike stun land. Thanatos trying to get himself back away, but the follow-up stun is there. Loud barely misses out on the damage for the kill.
Yeah, I think that is the good game plan, but they just don't quite have enough damage. They, waited for his Q cooldown to come back and everything, and got the stun there, but flash for flash is the trade in the end. Thanatos teleports back. It is 50% health on both Loud members.
But Vi is also here. Blaber's ready to join. Thanatos goes back in early, gets himself back to safety there with a shield. Does take a massive amount of damage. Remember, Thanatos has already used his teleport. They need to get a kill into Robo here, or at least have Blaber hang out long enough to crash this wave hard into the turret. Allow Thanatos to reset again.
Exactly. He's going to get a bit more money, finish off this wave, then go for his reset and walk his way back. Meanwhile, because Blaber came and did help out with that push, Robo is going to have to clean up this wave before he goes back and uses his own teleport, which the newly reworked teleport, still takes a decent amount of time in the early game, but Blaber will go back into a second top-down full clear for Vi, as is expected. You want to keep up that farm so you can get to a very timely level 6 and be there for those duels, those skirmishes, especially if it does pop out around that mid lane.
Huge power spike for both junglers at level 6. The ulti's just massive playmaking tools, especially when you look at the setup that you have in your lanes. Both mid laners can set you up or follow up. Both bottom lanes, the supports, can set up or follow up. Top lanes singing the same song. There's so many options for these junglers once they have those tools online.
And we got to watch these support roams because the grubs are coming up in 20-ish seconds here. So Winsome after the reset on Nautilus, heading up over here. Loud, of course, are the ones that want to focus on solo lanes, so they want to focus on those grubs. And we'll see about this wraparound, actually, because the pings, they're spamming pings onto Loki coming in towards the river. And it looks like they actually want to focus down here, grab the crab first, and see what else they can get. They do know, of course, that Blaber did start with a topside clear and is going to be ending back up down here on his second clear too. So they're doing a little bit of defense first. Grab that Scuttle Crab, no problem. And they already have their control ward on the grubs, so they can just cross map right back up to it and not let Blaber in at all.
Gotta try to keep him down early if you're on Loud's side. You don't want to allow C9 to just have this mid-game where they're always in the decision-making seat, where they're always ahead like they were in game number 1. We never really got to see Loud have a fair fight in that first game, but yet we still got to see a couple of moments where they were more coordinated, where they caught C9 off guard a little bit, and you have to think that if they can do that in a more fair game state, it could look really good.
Yeah, definitely looks way better already. And because they left a control ward behind in the Dragon Pit, Loud knows as well that while they're taking grubs, Cloud9 are taking Dragon. Blaber cleared that control ward that was in the Dragon Pit, and then they take it. Now he's got his level 6 for Blaber, so take a look at the top side though, because Sejuani, as you take away, if he can finish off the red, he would be able to get his level 6, but he can't finish it off.
Yeah, he does not have that one yet. Seismic shove immediately into the unraveled earth as Blaber is ready to stop him. Stands between him as well so that he can't use the Arctic Assault over the wall. Forces the flash out of Wiz.
Okay, so they deny a bit here for Sejuani and take away the flash. It's not the most important flash, of course, in the game, but it also does mean Blaber gets to keep his red and keep a little bit of a lead here going for himself. I mean, honestly, just do another top-down full clear again here on the Vi, and should be able to return to that side of the map. Zven now level 6 too. The Xayah down there, very, very safe. So Wiz's options getting a little bit more difficult. They can still look at Thanatos, although it is kind of hard to pin him down if he is playing safe. See about the timers for his flash though, and they surely have timed that one, and
yeah,
Sejuani with ultimate available, maybe they can make the play, but mid lane currently is where the supports are camped out, seeing if anyone steps up too far.
Yeah, Vulcan playing defense for Loki, who is very low on mana here with the Taliyah. Now Winsome taking the opportunity, recognizing the enemy mid laner needs to back, can't really participate in full strength in the fight, moves forward, ready to set up this blue take attempt for his jungler Wiz. Let's see. Can C9 actually stop it? Blaber's ready to maybe make an entrance here, but instead gets charmed up before we can hit the vault breaker. Zven's going to secure the blue buff as Root wants to make his way into the fight, but Loki's arrived with the Weaver's Wall. C9 now looking to perhaps disengage. They got to be careful. Zven gets grabbed right up in the air. The feathers fly, and Loud tries to walk it back off, but it ain't going to work. It's first blood. Back to Blaber with a vault breaker. Punches back and forth, but it's Loud walking out with a broken jaw.
Ooh, yeah, that is going to be fairly painful, actually, as we move on, because now the bottom lane here is pretty far pushed up. Zven and Vulcan know it is just Root by himself. See if they could actually do much down there. I guess Root's pretty safe with double summoner spells available to him, though, and he just wants to make sure that lane's not going to get frozen or anything down there, so deals with it quite nicely. And it's just a single kill that does go over. But again, the full dive versus a lot of these anti-dive champions that Cloud9 have drafted, you have to be very, very careful when fully committing like that. And Zven kind of lets the hook hit him, knowing he's going to have the Xayah ultimate for safety, which ends up costing Winsome his life. Let's take another look, though. It was the ejection from Vulcan that kind of delayed this one. And once Tinowns uses both charges there for Ahri, Winsome comes back in for it, but gets just barely locked up with a nice seismic shove from Loki, knowing that Winsome had already used Flash to go for the play in the first place. A lot of times those Nautilus flowers, it's one-way ticket.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if the seismic shove is back off cooldown.
We know Nautilus for a couple of things. He likes to hang out with Kai'Sa, and he likes to go into a fight and never come back. That is how Nautilus plays League of Legends. Two things on his mind. And right now, 0-1-0 on that champion. The only death so far, just in that one big scrap. Honestly, a pretty quiet early game.
Has been pretty quiet with the trades that have gone on, with the top lane just kind of pushing up there, but maybe we get a bit of a scrap here for second grub spawn.
All right, let's see it. We know we got some summoner spells down in a couple of different places. C9 are not going to be the ones to overextend into the top side river here just yet. Tinowns from Loud in the pixel brush there near the top lane, but there is a ward from both teams inside that brush as well. Void Grub's on the table for the second time. Blaber going to walk over the ward placed down by Loud. Wiz sees Blaber there, so both of them hanging out. Thanatos squaring off, staring down Tinowns down here in the bottom lane. Loki versus Robo. It is an HP advantage for the Taliyah as Loud makes the engage here, looking for a huge burst on a Blaber, and they've already killed him before the fight even starts. Wiz tries to get away. The feathers don't find their mark, and that means Wiz is in no danger of a counter death. Loud get one for free.
Wow, that was huge, yeah. And then they can get 6 grubs now. Taking down Blaber like that was massive for Loud. 6-pack of grubs should translate into some turret plate money afterwards as well. Nice job annihilating Blaber here with the CC combo.
Big stuff for Loud, finding a fight. This is what I was talking about. They can find coordinated engages. They can show that they're ready faster than C9. And when C9's not 4,000 gold ahead by default, it can get them some pretty big prizes.
And I've decided that the second pack of grubs, Cloud9 should never fight those. Now, this is now 2 games in a row. And Loud have gotten the better than them in both of those second grub pack fights that they have actually gone for. Cloud9 Hungry Sid still will get Dragon number 2. But here's a look at it. And during this, we toggle the vision here, but it is just a great little initiation. That brush, this little curved kind of...
Well, hold on. We're back live, and Robo's not live.
True. We don't know how it started, but we do know how it ended.
Yes, sir. I like that. I like that. That was a zinger. That's a good one.
We did see how it ended, and actually turret plate money going to be going Cloud9's way because of that kill. So we'll see here who ended up getting the last hit. Looks like Blaber actually did. So Blaber going to get to his Trinity Force that much quicker off that money. And then, of course, Loki getting the tower plate money. That's that combo that you mentioned from Champ Select, the Vi and Taliyah, with both of them really benefiting off that play. It makes Cloud9's kind of pick combination that much more deadly. Vulcan here watching.
And, you know, talking about Blaber, look at the scoreboard. He is the biggest individual gold lead over his opponent for either team. Almost 600 gold, well, 500 now after the chicken steal, up over Wiz. Second highest being down there in the bottom lane. Root over Zven with his Kai'Sa has the static shiv completed. Loki now moving back up towards the top side. He'll be there to answer Tinowns. Wants to try to give Winsome a hard time as he wants to clear out some of the vision here. Big chunk under the health bar of the Loud support.
Yeah, definitely going to field that one. Doesn't look like they'll actually be able to chase him down or punish or anything. And meanwhile, I did see a tower plate, I believe, go down 1v1 there. So Jax with the Trinity Force also making use of the 6 scrub buff already. You know, it's actually quite... Wait, they're going for it!
They immediately engage. Loud! They find the angle and they find Vulcan instantly.
Exactly the game plan we set up from Champ Select Flowers. They have to create those skirmishes. They have to make those picks, get these kills, you know, racked onto the carries. And that one on to... wait, who got the last hit? Was that the Ahri one, or was that the Winsome one? Regardless, getting the pick in the first place
that's what matters.
That's the key dub there. Wrapping around and grabbing that extra kill, even around the area of the second grub pack, seems to be deadly for.
It's just that part of the map, man. It's full of toxic anti-Cloud9 radiation.
I mean, really good picks here though, and Sejuani and Ahri ultimates used on the side of Loud very effectively to grab their gold here. So see if they can get back out on the map, make use of that time to try and set up more vision so that they can get have more places to actually operate with those two.
All right, let's see if we get a big fight over this Herald. I feel like we normally always do. C9 invading enemy territory here. Vulcan has infiltrated those brushes near the blue buff. As Blaber and Zven are both going to decide to back away here. Vulcan will take his exit alongside them as Loki continues mounting the pressure up there in the top lane, getting that wave shoved up into the Loud tier 1 as well. Every time we pan down to the bottom lane, it's just two dudes trading blows back and forth, farming minions. This bottom lane situation is not changing anytime soon, Kobe.
Yep. Pretty smooth stuff there for them. Both of them with teleports too, so we'll have the options to join once a big fight does pull out. Let's see about Spawn of Rift Herald. Honestly, not the biggest of objectives, so no need to overcommit to it. But if either of these teams, you know, sees one member, you know, pushed up too far, both of them having those pick tools will be able to punish quickly. It's just that Loud have such a big advantage because these wards that we're seeing, these river brush wards here that they keep getting, it's just such good positioning for you know, Nautilus and Sejuani to sit in and get that early jump. Blaber here.
He's thinking about it.
Gotta be a little careful though.
Yup. Loud. Now they could be in some trouble. Weaver's Wall arrives. C9 looking to make their move, but their move isn't very good. Wow. Not a whole lot to gain from that one.
So let's see. Sejuani ult for a cleanse there. A little late on the cleanse, and Taliyah wall as well. Wow, off screen actually. Down in the bottom lane. Thanatos does finish up that tower though, so solo tower gold to Thanatos. But
that's the biggest win.
Yeah, Wiz will move in afterwards and at least start up that Rift Trail. Probably should be able to finish it since Cloud9 are committing down towards that Dragon spawn. 20 seconds on it. I mean, Cloud9, if they, I think Cloud9 want this anyways, you know, get Dragon number 3. Rift Trail does take a decent amount of time to take, but Root gonna come over and speed up that process for him.
So funny enough, since that's Herald going over to the side of Loud, that means they get the feat of neutral objectives. Cloud9 got the feat of turret. And now, since they're both at 2-2, next kill gets better shoes.
Next kill gets a better shoes. You'll love to see it. They're going to drop the Rift Trail mid. Just let it charge in and immediately rotate over to cut Cloud9 off from that Dragon setup. I mean, Tinowns has teleport, so they can just send him back for a base, purchase real quick, and still threaten once again, teleport back out to the Dragon fight. That's the full Horizon focused finish.
That's big.
Huge burst damage available to Loud now. If they can set up Tinowns, he definitely could finish off the kill.
Big power spike for the Ahri. Now Zven's got to be careful. Immediately forced to use the ulti with a nice charm from Tinowns, making it happen. That's a massive cooldown for the AD carry of Cloud9 to no longer have available. And now a catch onto Blaber might spell disaster. He has to get himself back out of the pit. C9 trying to redraw their battle lines here a little bit. Keep your eyes on Tinowns. First kill finds its way onto Wiz. The jungler on Loud, stuck inside the dragon pit, trying to posture aggressively and immediately punished. C9 pops the jungler. The fight's over before it starts. And the Drake and the shoes go over to C9. Robo, what kind of a greedy recall was that? Blaber's ready to stop him. And now Loki's gonna pop him. C9 get another one for free.
Oh, Flowers, the beginning of that fight all started. Robo was hiding in the brush that's inside of Dragon Pit because of the Ocean Dragon. But then he handles his Counter-Strike. The Dragon aggro, the Dragon, wait a second, we might have a follow-up play here first, but we'll get a replay later.
Okay, let's see. Thanatos coming around from the side as Vulcan and Zven are ready to put the damage onto Root. It's AD carry for AD carry. Now Winsome wants to escape. Tinowns with a Spirit Rush back over the wall. 1-for-1 trade there. Loud is going to come out on top at the end because of the fact that they grabbed the tier 1 turret as well. Thanatos flashing out of the way of that Glacial Prison to make sure he doesn't give over another.
Yeah, a lot of flashes blown in the last couple of minutes in these skirmishes, but here's what I was talking about. Okay, so Robo does a good job. Like, he sneaks in here. He's in the brush. This is actually really good because they can pincer Blaber. And so that's what they're thinking. They're going to annihilate him. Wiz comes over, but the Dragon liftoff knocks Robo's Counter-Strike back, so he could not follow up with Wiz. And then they are just stuck inside the pit, so Vulcan smashes him against the wall, and Cloud9 annihilate the two that were attempting the surprise here, and then they get the Dragon on top of it afterwards as well. And then, as you know, the full chase through and getting the extra kill even on top of it. Big stuff.
And we were talking about this Ahri and the 2-item power spike and how huge that would be for the fight. Yeah. But if you looked at the top part of where the water meets the dirt in the river, it was Loki just tossing those rocks back at him, back and forth and back and forth. Ahri could never get in to use those charges to try to bail them out. And it was just such a mess for Loud. Now C9 with 3 Drakes, they're on Soul Point, and they're 1,500 gold ahead.
Yeah, because like Sejuani and Jax, if Jax gets knocked back on the Counter-Strike, then you're not going to have enough with just those two to finish off Blaber. And because Cloud9 had better positioning to get in there, they end up reaping some huge benefits. So now we're in a world, Flowers, where Cloud9 retook the gold lead off of that, pretty substantial gold lead for themselves now, and they set themselves up with the Dragon stacking, so Dragon Soul will arrive pretty quickly in this game. Only 2.5 minutes left on that timer for them, and the extra sustain of an Ocean Soul. I mean, Loud do have a lot of pick and burst damage, you know, with Kai'Sa and Ahri, so maybe they might not be crazily worried about an Ocean Soul, but it's definitely still a pretty big buff.
Yeah, especially like later on, Kai'Sa's often like to build towards AP, poke at people, whittle them down a little bit, but that much harder to do if the Ocean Soul becomes reality. You can see Loud now taking control back over the topside river, but the only thing here right now is Otacon, and they really don't want a hard force on an Otacon.
Okay, Winsome gets his recall off. No catch there. But like you're saying, yeah, Otacon definitely a dangerous objective, as we have come to know and love.
We've got to learn it the easy way. We've seen a lot of teams learn it the hard way.
Yeah.
That armor and MR shred is no joke. Up to a maximum of 50 flat armor and MR at max stacks.
Definitely. You get some of the stacks just from being in the pit while it's least as well. So it kind of like sneaks up on people that are even doing mechanics. But we'll see about the setup here for the next one. You have to think, because Dragon Soul is coming pretty early in this game, that's going to be where all the focus is. Since it doesn't actually cost Cloud9 very much to set up down there for it. But the rewards would be so substantial that honestly think that the last couple of minutes here, just being fairly calm, they're just kind of waiting for that one. And then once you start to get like 50 seconds ahead of time, everybody needs to go get their control wards, get your supplies ready for the setup here, because setup again is so critical when both teams have a lot of burst damage, have a lot of pick potential. for themselves to wield. Blaber can either be the one starting the engage and getting the big burst, or as we saw in the second grub fight, just getting being the one on the receiving end. As tower goes down here though, Robo moves in.
Robo's ready to step up, and the rest of Loud approaching on the flank right next to him, but Cloud9 backing up in time. Meanwhile, the turret, the tier 1, destroyed up in the top lane. Loki responsible for that as Loud continues their pressure here bottom, going after the tier 2. Vulcan wanted to go for that teleport immediate yeet button, but the TP coming in. C9 wants to make their collapse as immediately Blaber jumps into the back line for the full-on engage, but Blaber's taking a ton of damage. He's going to be killed off first, and Root stays alive. Thanatos wants to pick him off. Massive damage coming out from Zven, and Loud gets mopped up. Clean up in aisle bot lane. Triple kill over to Zven, and Loud is looking real quiet. C9 earned themselves a Dragon Soul.
Couple things to note on the preparation for that play from Cloud9 Flowers. It was actually quite nice. Zven had just gotten to enough money to buy his Infinity Edge. So Zven comes immediately from base. Look at him right now on minimap. He's walking straight with a fresh Infinity Edge. So even though Blaber's a couple seconds, or maybe like 1 second ahead of Loki arriving after the teleport and then ult through with the Taliyah, it is still plenty of time. And Zven walking up with the freshly purchased Infinity Edge just kind of rips through them from a position of relative safety. So it's very nice for Cloud9. They set up a couple things. You know, they timed their Infinity Edge purchase for Zven, plus they had been pushing top lane minion wave with the Taliyah. So Loki was able to get that fully pushing first, teleports in behind them, Taliyah walls over, and it was just nicely constructed. Now they're going for another skirmish.
Yeah, could be some trouble here for Winsome and Wiz, as Wiz tries to jump back in to protect his support, but instead he's going to get punished, slammed to the wall, forced to flash over just to try to survive. Zven under pressure from Robo. The Jack so much threat onto the Xayah, but now immediately the shove right back into the rocks. It's not going to matter. C9 picks up 2, a double kill for Thanatos. Robo, Winsome, and Root all dead. Zven's on a rampage. Baron just spawned and he's about to die with Loud.
Yeah, Baron's actually going to die even faster this game than the first game, Flowers. Baron went down at 20. Baron went down because Otacon died first. You know, they killed Otacon first. It took them an extra, it was like 25-50 or something the first time Baron. And this one, 25 and a half. So
this time Otacon is the second giant monster killed in the duo. But both games, they're getting Baron and Otacon back to back. This is a nightmare for Loud that they just cannot wake up from.
Yeah, and this time around, of course, with them previously earning themselves the Ocean Soul, it's like 3 mega buffs.
#1 deaths in LTA history.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing a long time.
Yeah, when you look at the other names on the tombstones there, yeah, these are all guys who have been in League of Legends for so long. But Robo, 1-4-1 here in this game. It started off a lot better for Loud than Game 1 did, but unfortunately the mid game has gone C9's way.
It's crazy that Impact and Robo, up there, both are still active. Aframu, up there on the leaderboards as well. Really representing. Here we go though, Vulcan in, representing for the supports as well. Looks like, and not going to be too much though. Cloud9 with their triple mega buffs.
Man, that is so nasty. And now Tinowns having to flash away alongside popping the Spirit Rush. Wants to try to get a kill back here onto Loki. Not enough damage to guarantee it. Final turret shot at least claims the false life, but that's not enough. That's not good enough for Loud to try to hold on right now, as they're still going to lose their support. They're still going to lose their mid lane inhibitor turret and the inhibitor with it, and C9 are not slowing down.
They certainly have no need to. Loki doesn't have teleport though, so Loki's going to head up to the minion wave on top side. And it's going to be the 4 members of Cloud9 trying to finish. Yeah,
C9 not afraid to put these false lives to good use, as Thanatos is saying, you guys continue doing that. I'm going to work on this turret down here. There's another tier 3 out of the way. Inhibitor about to drop right next to it. Nexus turrets now, what's left in their sights. Loki will get the next wave ready to go here in a minute or so.
He's coming, he'll be here.
Yeah, it's just going to take took him a minute. He took a nap. He slept in. His alarm didn't go off as Wiz and Winsome trying to get away from this one. Falling back to the Nexus turrets. Robo's very low. The false life is at least claimed on Blaber. Thanatos into the back line. 2 health bars low, but nobody down just yet. Thanatos also sent back home. C9's assault finally stopped in its tracks.
I mean, that was very necessary for Loud to try and make that engage while Loki was still top lane. Loki's teleport cooldown did end up coming up in time to answer, but still you have to wait for the channel time. It was still a little bit, slower than the engage, so good engage from Loud to get some of those Otacon revives taken off and put a stop to what could have been the game-ending push from Cloud9.
It's still an 8,000 gold game. It is still Ocean Soul for C9. It is still their entire Rift and 2 inhibitors down in the Loud base. Those inhibitors will not respawn before the Elder Drake spawns, and I feel like that situation is nigh impossible to play for Loud, as C9, again, looking to make a play in enemy territory. Robo is going to be the target. They want to make sure that he remains on that #1 gravestone, Kobe, and they're going to give him an extra boost for it. 1, 5, and 1 now for the Loud top laner.
There you go, climbing up the ranks. Meanwhile, Cloud9, only 1 inhibitor left to deal with. They're going to go for top side, and they're going to go for the kills.
Immediately into the back line with the ulti from Blaber, and the follow-up from Thanatos is enough to bring Root down immediately. It's gray screens for Loud, and C9 is staring at the Nexus. They'd love to get this one packed up and done with before 30 minutes into the game, and they're looking to do just that. Loud scrambling to try to defend at the very last second, the very last moment, but they cannot do it. C9 continues the northern dominance in the LTA, and they will 2-0 Loud.
Another dominant performance here in game number 2 from Cloud9. Nicely set up from them, and yeah, you said it. LTA North now 6-0 so far. Whew. We've got 1 more. Isurus Astral is the hope now for LTA Seoul versus Team Liquid coming up next. Looking forward to that one. Cloud9, take a bow, fellas. Nicely done.
The first game was over right as it started. The second one was close for a lot longer. Loud had a couple of bright moments in the early game, but once that mid-game came around, it was all C9, all again, and I think you worded it best to correlate the 2 games. Baron went down faster in the second one, and it just shows that C9 had him figured out, had this one locked up from the start.
Yep, definitely confident play there from them. Fans here, always still popping off regardless. Love to see the energy.
Always a fun time with the Brazilian fans here in the LTA South studio in Sao Paulo. And C9, they're having fun down here. You better believe it. We got to see them in that little video in the first game. Yep, they were partying hard out of game.
Jersey swap going on.
Partying hard in game. They're having a great time. It is a 6-0 start to the interconference competition, like you already hinted towards. And now it looks like it's time to join Rafa and Vulcan on stage for an interview.
Metendo na banca, você já chegou aqui de óculos de o pai tá on, você não tá entendendo, você já vai traduzir para você. Eu quero saber se com isso você já queria dizer quem é que ia mandar nessa partida. First of all, congrats on the win. You already start, confident with glasses that is on the house. Did you do this to show after the beginning who would dominate the match? When you enter on stage, your glasses that is on the house. Did you do this for a show? Who is dominating?
Yeah, I mean, it's for the show. We're in Brazil. The energy is crazy. The crowd was like booing us really hard, and I think they might hate us. But honestly, I love it. I was walking during the walkout. I was really close to them, and they were screaming slurs at me, but I was just smiling. I think it's kind of funny, and I was really hyped for the match because of it. So you can still hear them, but I think they give me a lot of energy. So regardless of if they're rooting for me or against me, I like it a lot. So their energy is great.
Ele falou que sim, que desde o começo se sentia muito os gritos da torcida aqui, que eles estão muito próximos dele e que ele ficou muito hypado por causa disso. Dá pra escutar realmente até agora a torcida aqui. Bom, falando, a gente puxou os números do seu confronto contra o Winsome. E vocês tinham se enfrentado 3 vezes e você não tinha ganhado até então. O que você achou desse confronto da bot lane? E o que você achou, no geral, do nível dos times aqui da LTA Sul?
When Winsome played in NA, you guys faced each other 3 times and you had never won before. So what are you thinking about this match today in bot lane and in general about the level of the South teams?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't super worried about Winsome, even though I didn't win against him in NA. It was only 3 games, and honestly, I don't really remember the games, but yeah, I don't care about who I play right now. I'm just focused on myself and my team, and I don't think we showed up very good today, but it was a warm-up, and I think next week we'll be a lot better, and I have a lot of faith in our team, so regardless of who we play, I think we're going to win. So.
Ele falou que realmente se enfrentaram 3 vezes antes, mas que isso, Rafa, não importa muito para ele, porque o que importa é o nível individual e que ele considera que hoje não jogou muito bem, mas que para a próxima semana ele vai estar afiado.
Falando em próxima semana, quem que você acha que vocês vão enfrentar? E vocês enfrentam quem ganha de Isurus Estral e Team Liquid, né? Quem que você acha que ganha?
Talking about next week, do you prefer facing against Isurus Estral or Team Liquid?
Honestly, we scrimmed Isurus, and they're actually pretty good. So I might rather play Team Liquid because they're a known quantity. We know what to expect from them. And recently in practice, I think we've gotten the better of them a lot. So yeah, I hope Team Liquid wins just because I think we have a better chance against them. But if Isurus wins, it would be good for the league because obviously it would be nice to have someone from LTA Seoul in the semifinals, and I hope so. But please, Team Liquid.
Ele falou que a Isurus Estral realmente surpreendeu eles por causa das screens dos treinos, mas que realmente ele vê a Team Liquid um pouquinho mais fraca, então para ele é melhor enfrentar a Liquid na próxima semana.
Bom, mais uma vez, parabéns aí pela vitória de vocês, obrigado pela entrevista. É isso então, pessoal. Agora, próximo confronto Isurus Estral contra a Team Liquid. Quem vencer, enfrenta Cloud9.
Welcome back to the lounge. Thanks, Rafa, Lau, and Vulcan for that interview. That was very stress-free for Cloud9.
Yeah.
Very stress-free.
Yeah, quick 2-0. And 6-0 now for North versus South.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
nervous?
looking dicey. But
it's about to be a 9-0 very soon, and the 9 is your mustache. So
okay.
I was
the
like,
final
where's
loss.
the 9?
That's the
Where
final
are
loss.
we
It's
adding
sitting
the
on his
extra
face
game?
right now.
That was Vulcan. We have Zven. We can pull Zven in here. Yeah, Zven, how you
Where
doing?
is he?
Hey!
Hello, what's up?
How is the crowd there? Vulcan says they hated you. What's the energy like? There was all green that I saw in the stands.
Well, at first they were kind of nice to us. They were cheering us when we arrived, but then when we won, I went to do the bow after you win. They were like booing us. That was so fucking funny. I was just standing there laughing at them. I was like, yeah, boo me. I just married your team. You know.
Yeah, because you'd mentioned to us before you left that you had some fond memories from the last time you were in Brazil for MSI when you were on G2.
Yeah.
How is that related to this experience so far?
Yeah, I mean, back in G2, we went to MSI Rio. We were like super hated in EU by everyone. So we came to Brazil, and they were very neutral about us there. They're cheering us on. So it was kind of a turning point for my team back then. So I had some good memories, but so far it's been good too. I like it here, even though it's really, really hot. I'm not built for this.
There it is. You're talking about it now. Basically, how's it been since, basically flying into Brazil? I know the 100 Thieves guys were talking about like not being able to get good sleep. Has it been good for your side and also practice?
I think I've been to so many events these days that I know how to handle like jet lag and sleep, but I think some of my teammates, I don't want to say who, have been a bit griefing in my scrims recently, and they're saying like, yeah, I woke up at 6. They're like, yeah, I woke up at 6 a.m. and it's like, 4 p.m. scrims. So some people handle jet lag better than others, and it's only been a week since we got here, so it's been okay sleep-wise.
Well, I want to get your thoughts on the next match coming up here, because we heard from stage of Vulcan talking about how Istral, you've been scrimming them. They're actually pretty good, so maybe would rather go up against Team Liquid. I want to get your thoughts. First off, how do you think that match is going to go, and who would you rather face?
I think we will beat both, so I don't really mind. But I think if there's any, well, obviously at this point there's only one team left. So, but I was gonna say if there's any hope, it was gonna be Isurus Estral versus Team Liquid, because I think they're the best team. We scrimmed Leviathan and Isurus, and we scrimmed. We played loud today, right? So we played 3 teams. I think Isurus was by far the best team we played. So I'd say they have a good chance. I'd say maybe like 40-60 to win, based on like scrims we played against both teams in the last couple of weeks.
Wow. I mean, just last question for you, Zven. We were noticing during that game, it felt like Thanatos' team fighting at least to us, a lot better than he did last year. Has that been a focus, or what have you noticed with Thanatos' improvement from last year to this year?
I mean, I really enjoy working with Thanatos. He's very rational. He takes feedback very well, and he works hard on everything. And his English is very good for someone who's been here for less than a year. So happy to work with him. I think he is very good at both giving and taking feedback. So I think he will just improve very quickly with time. So yeah, I think he's been very good in everything, like laning and team fighting. So happy to have him on board.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys have been dominating so far in 2025. So good luck next week. Rest up, scrim well. Can't wait to see you again against either Team Liquid or Isris Astral. We'll have to see. All right, take it easy, Zven.
Bye, guys.
That's it for this game. Next up is going to be the last of the first round matchups. Team Liquid versus Isris Astral. We'll see you after the break.
AT&T has a new guarantee because most things in life are not guaranteed. Like common courtesy. Really, Brenda?
I know you can see.
When they say,
I'm on my way.
no way. Pretty blue, though. Or a fun night at the movies. Yeah, that's not guaranteed.
Yo, hold on. Let me put you on speakerphone.
You know what AT&T guarantees? Connectivity you depend on, the deals you want, and the service you deserve. Or we'll make it right. That's the AT&T guarantee.
Dad, I'm a genius. I figured out how to make us penguins fly.
That's going to be tricky without wings.
Exactly. That's why I've got Red Bull. It gives you wings. All we have to do is drink it.
And how?
Come on, Dad, just drink it. But why?
Why? It's 40 degrees below. Do you think we're standing here for fun?
Red Bull gives you wings, but only if you drink it.
Aww.